And Chris Fleming is the best paranormal investigator I've ever had a chance to work with. Investigate Tilly Pierce house, and he's intense, but he's. Have you ever investigated with
Yeah,
Chris?
yeah. Chris and I worked together before.
Yeah,
He's a good guy.
yeah, very respectful in his approach of the paranormal, and that's how I think that's what I love about taps and
That's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be done in a more respectful manner. I don't like when people are like answer me now. And like
exactly.
sitting in the dark, screaming and threatening things. It's what are you doing?
It's
Come on,
totally
man.
against what I yeah.
That's not cool at all. That's what I always tell people. If you take a more cerebral approach to the field, like if you're gonna do EVP work, like find out stuff about who it is you're trying to contact.
Right.
Figure out what would make that person want to talk to you if you were sitting in a room with them. You
Exactly.
could sit and insult somebody and they might get really angry, but it's not going to get you anywhere. Like, why bother?
And besides that, think of like the random stuff they could do to you.
Yeah, you're at an
Like-
extreme disadvantage.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
And they attach themselves to you and come to your house and haunt you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I mean, if you treat the living with respect, when they're dead, I don't know why you would stop treating them with respect,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you get better results. 90% of the time, even if you don't get results and you get like, oh my God, I wanted so much activity going on like tonight, that's okay. Yeah, that's what makes it fun. If we had activity all the time, it wouldn't be fun. After a while, we get bored and oh my God,
That's like Bigfoot hunting. You can go out for 2 or 3 months in a row and hear nothing, and then you can go out for 2 or 3 weeks in a row and hear something every night.
exactly. It's like UFO hunting. I know a team, aerial phenomena, and they can be out for 3 weeks and nothing, and then they can go on one hunt and catch something.
Yeah.
Yeah. My like I met somebody like when I'm in a room over here, but like when I'm at home, like I never put my heat like over 65. And it was so cold in my room last night. I had on 85. I'm like, why am I so cold? It's ridiculous.
Have you ever done UFO hunt or Bigfoot hunt, Dustin?
I've worked with a Bigfoot group out in New Mexico
Okay.
at one time. It was really cool. And UFOs, I've never worked with the group, but I was actually driving through Indiana one night because I've always been into it. Like I think it's really cool. I just never dedicated the time to it or anything. But I was coming home from a lecture. I wasn't coming home. I was driving from lecture to lecture. I was leaving a college one night, and this was when the Chilean miners were trapped underground.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember this was the night like they got them out to the surface. I was listening to the radio and I was driving. It was very, very late, or like probably after midnight. And they were talking about how dark everything was down there and everything. And I was noticing like where I was out in the middle of nowhere, it was just pitch black. And then all of a sudden, just in front, like on the horizon in my windshield, I see what looks like the shape of like an eyebrow, and it went from red to white. And it wasn't like a strobing light; it was just red on one side, fading into white on the other. And it popped on like somebody just turned on the light in the sky, and it was there. And as soon as I looked at it to notice it, it shot off to the left, and I couldn't even trace it. It was just gone, and it was so weird. It's like, where did that come from? And then it was gone. So it's really, really strange.
It's strange. It happened to me one time. I was traveling in Vegas. I was going from, I think it was in Bryce, in Canyon, and driving towards Vegas, in northwest Utah, and going through the mountains and everything. And all of a sudden, there was that light in the sky that you can't ignore. You think it's a plane, but it's stationary, and it goes like this. And by the time I take my camera trying to film it, it's gone.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh my God, what the hell was that? That's kind of cool,
Every time I drive through Indiana, something crazy happens. The last time I went through, there was a tornado, and like I was trying to make it to, where was I going? I think I was going to St. Louis, or was it, I don't know. I can't remember anymore. It all kind of blurs, but I was on the highway, and like they keep coming on with like the tornado watches, and then it's like tornado warning. And then like it was like being in a movie, like the signs like shaking on the roadside, and like I'm in this little, I had this little rental, and like the ass end of it is like getting blown around. And I can't even stop. Like I don't have enough time. I have to get to this lecture. It's so horrible. Yeah, everyone else is like pulling over. I'm like, I gotta keep going. I don't have a choice. So Every time I get through Indiana, I'm always like prepared for something strange to happen.
My God.
Oh man, it's getting really cold up here.
Yeah.
It is super cool.
I can turn the heat up some more.
Yeah. Really
I don't know if it's
appreciate
even working.
the time, Dustin. Thank you very much. It was nice
Yeah,
meeting
my
you.
pleasure.